You know, niggas gotta get their priorities together. Got their mind on the wrong things, spending their money in the wrong way.
Trapaholics, real trap shit.
Say you need that car with the rims and a trunk, just like Jim. It's more than life. Yeah.
I'm telling you. Talk to him.
Say you need that LV bag with the belt and the hat.
That's all you got though.
It's more than life. Yeah.
Talk to him. Real.
Say you wanna turn up at the club, like some bottles, impress them girls. It's more than life.
Fucking everybody.
Yeah.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Saints and Appetizers podcast. And I'm Ethan Emmons, and today I have more Pelicans talk for you. And with that, can I get a menu? And I feel bad because I shouldn't have mentioned the rookie curse, and I set parameters for it. I put a first round pick on it. I thought undrafted rookies. I thought second round picks. I thought all of that was safe. I thought those guys were safe. I thought they were on lock. I thought the only guys that were going to go down in off season and in summer league were only first round pick, only the high pick guys. You know, I mentioned in the first on the previous podcast that Zion Williamson in 2019 he went down in the off season with the knee injury, and then I mentioned in 2020 that Kyrie Lewis went down and didn't play his first game until January, and then I mentioned just the first game and the first summer league game in 2022 that Dyson Daniels went down, and I just pointed out that all those guys were first round picks, and I was like, what's the deal with that? Why are all our first round picks like right after we draft them? Like what's the deal? Why are all these guys getting hurt? Like must be a curse. Must be what's the deal? What's up with that? And I was like, I was putting the parameters on it. Must be something. Must be something. All of our first round picks are cursed. And I mentioned something about. I mentioned the J word. I mentioned the G word. I mentioned voodoo. I should have never said that. I should have known better when it comes to New Orleans to mention any of that. And you can put the onus on me for saying that, and I feel really bad for that because unlike Dyson Daniels, who is done for summer league play, but thankfully is not done for the year because it is just his ankle injury. The MRIs came back negative for him. EJ Liddell, he is done for the season with a torn ACL, and I just feel really bad. I feel like I put that out there in the hemisphere, the atmosphere, the metaverse, whatever you want to call it, and I just I feel like I should have never said nothing. I should have kept my mouth closed. I just wish I never would have mentioned anything about a curse, a rookie curse. I should have never put anything out there to make it exist, and it obviously exists, and it obviously pertains to more than first round picks. It obviously affects second round picks too, and it obviously affects everyone. But I don't just put that all on me. I want to put it on our training staff and management because I feel like that shouldn't have even happened. honestly, because he left the game multiple times because he could have been protected. I feel as if this could have been avoided, honestly, because uh, unless you watch the game, if you were just like following along on Twitter or something, or just catching updates, you may have thought like he got hurt and left the game and got the knee injury and only left once, and it was only an isolated injury. But no, he got hurt and then came back and got hurt again, because in the second quarter of uh, at 7:57 of the second quarter, Najee Marshall threw up a poorly timed lob, and EJ went up with like a half-hearted attempt to go get it to dunk it, and came down awkwardly on the right knee, and then he left. And at that point, I didn't think we were going to see him again. And I thought like, oh man, he's hurt, you know. And when he came back at the end of the second quarter, I was like, oh, I'm really surprised. Like he's a tough kid, you know. And that's kind of on the broadcast, they were talking about him being a tough kid, you know. He's a second round pick, and a lot of people were surprised that he was a second round pick. And maybe that's why he was back out there, is because he was a second round pick and he really was motivated to get back out there, and maybe pressured the training staff to get back out there so he could show what he wanted to do. But you know, as a training staff and management, you got to protect your guys. But when he was back out there at the end of the second, I was really surprised. But then he got back out there and was in the second. He looked all right, you know. I wasn't keeping that close of an eye on him, but he looked fine. He didn't really do a lot, but then he was actually in. Then he rolled over into the third, and he was even back out there in the second half. And then in the third, this is when it all crashed and got really ugly. At 6:52 of the third, he was getting posted up. He was posting up the defender and getting posted up. At 6:52 of the third, getting posted up and getting posted up, and got continued to get blocked all the way to the ground by a defender, and his leg got caught up and trapped behind him as he was going to the ground. And it was an ugly scene, and a deaf ear fell over the crowd in the stadium, and you could have heard a pin drop in there. And then he had to get carried off the court, and he couldn't put any weight on his right leg, and it was just an ugly scene. And I just really questioned the training staff of why he was even back in the game after he went down the first time, because you know, a lot of times when someone uh, hyperextends or sprains their knee or bruises their knee, you know, they lose stability in that leg, a little bit of strength in it, and then they're kind of compensating. And that's kind of what it looked like when he got blocked, posted up, and then blocked to blocked all the way to the ground, and his leg getting twisted up behind him. It looked like he just didn't have any strength in it from the previous fall. And like I said, I just really questioned the training staff there. And that's been kind of an issue with New Orleans sports teams over the last several years. For a while, you could say, I don't know, a long time, honestly. Whether it dates all the way back to whenever Oshner became their sponsor, or anything. And it's gotten better since David Griffin's become their president of operations, with the trading for C.J. McCollum and the drafting of Zion Williamson, but there's been some questionable management of some of Zion Williamson's injuries with his load management when he had the knee injury, and even when he broke his foot last year and things like that. But I don't know. I think they should have done a better job in protecting him, and that should have never happened. And I'm really disappointed because I really wanted to see what EJ Liddell had to offer, because I'm also one of those people that thought he should have been a first round pick, because him coming out of Ohio State, he was a forward coming out of Ohio State, 6'7". A lot of times guys that come out of that are 6'7" like that, they kind of scrawny, he was already kind of had his man body, and very disappointing that you won't get to see what he has to offer now. And he was also very disappointed that he wasn't a first round pick. So I think he was really motivated to do, and maybe that's why he ended up getting injured, because he wanted to get back out there, and he was overzealous and led to it. But like I said before, you got to protect your guys and avoid letting something like that happen. But let's move on for that and talk about something more positive. Trey on the way, because this is something that kind of got overshadowed a little bit due to injuries in the first game, because Dyson Daniels, of course, when your first round pick goes down, that's probably all you're going to be talking about when your 8th overall pick goes down in the first summer league game. But Dyson Daniels, or Trey Murphy, actually had a decent game in the first summer league game against the Trailblazers. A good game, a decent game, not a great game, but he was okay from the field. He was 7 for 16 from the field for a 43.8 field goal percentage. Wasn't great from 3-point range, only 1 for 9. Perfect from free throw line, 8 for 8. 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 steals, and that was for 23 points. So he had a pretty good game. But like I said, that was kind of overshadowed because of the Dyson Daniels injury. But he had a really good game, a really impressive game in the blowout win over the Hawks. They blew them out 101-73, and man, impressive game. He was 10 for 18 with a 55.6 field goal percentage. He was 3 for 6 from the 3-point line, 7 for 9 from the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block, and that was for 30 points. And it was funny, after the game, during his interview, Brandon Ingram came up behind him and was like, all scoring, no defense, kind of making fun of him. And it's really, really encouraging seeing a young player like that, who was really just all he was last year. During last year, all he was really a 3-point shooter and kind of a defender. But really seeing him during the first 2 summer league games being a primary ball handler, and really he was easily the best player in this game against the Hawks. It was clear that he was the best player on the court, and seeing him obviously he's in he's in the gym. He's in the lab. Easily to see that he's in the lab during the off season, working on his game. And if he's able to continue playing like this, and he's going to have open lanes with a healthy Zion and Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum, he's going to have easy shot opportunities with those guys on the court. And it should be interesting to see what he looks like in this upcoming season. And there were also some big time dunks and dunk attempts from Zach Hankins and Tyreek Jones as well, because this was just a fun game to watch. Besides the injury concerns that you had to worry about throughout the games, with EJ Liddell going down multiple times, and also just an extra player to watch is Jared Harper has looked pretty good in the first two games. He had 14 points in this game, and he had 18 points in the previous games. So other than that, all we can really hope for is the continued good play by Trey Murphy, and just hope for no more injuries. And with that, can I get a check, please?